morning, everyone. Welcome to Happy Japa. Because the Lord is merciful, He appears or makes His avatar in the world. It's very specific that He comes to assist us. And the way that He comes in Kali Yuga in His most merciful form is as His holy name. And when one wants to take advantage of the holy name, one has to approach with a mood of surrender. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, Prahlad Maharaj has said, Maya mana srijati karma mayam baliya kalena chodita gunanu matena pumsa chando mayam yajadi arpita shodasharam samsara chakra ajako titaret twaranyaha. And that is that maya mana srijati, the mind is full of connection to the material world. Maya mana srijati, because the mind is part of the creation. Kalena chodita gunanu matena pumsa. And it's come about because of the Lord's glancing at the material nature. Chandomayam yajaryar pita shodasharam. And it's especially characterized by one's attachment to various rituals in order to attain some material desire in this world. Samsara chakram. And therefore, by being attached to the mind, we're naturally connected to the samsara chakram, this wheel of birth and death. And therefore, Prahlad says, atitaret, how will one become transcendental without the help of the Lord? Satom hi nitya vijitatma gunasvadhamna kalo vashi krita vrishujya visharga shakti Chakre Vashishtamajya Yeshvara Shodashari Nishpidyamanam Upakarsha Vibo Prapanam. Are you remembering all these? So then he says that I'm being crushed by all this machinery of the material world. Nishpidyamanam, I'm being crushed. Upakarsha Vibo Prapanam. So what other recourse do I have except for to take prapanam, which means to take shelter of you? So japa, according to the Hari Bhakti Vilas, means the time in which you do nothing else. You disengage from the samsara chakram and maya manasrujiti karma, all of the natural ways in which the mind is agitated by thoughts for enjoyment in the material world. This is a time to have relief from that. And he says, japa means full absorption in one thing, the holy name. No preoccupation with considering any other prospect except for just surrendering to the holy name. No problem solving while you're chanting. And therefore, it's recommended that one begin any kind of worship of the Lord, including japa, with a bhuta shuddhi. Does anybody know what bhuta shuddhi means? Bhuta means all of the senses, and shuddhi means to purify. And so before starting, for instance, worshipping the deity, one has to perform bhuta shuddhi, or purification of the senses. And one of the verses that is recommended in that regard, I think most of you know, Naham vipro nacha narapatir napi vaisho nashudro, Naham barni nacha gripatir no barasto yatirva, Kintu prodyan nikila paramaranda purnamritabdir, Gopi bharatu parakamalayor das anudasaha, which is separating oneself from any of the designations of the body. Naham vipro, I'm not a Brahmin, I'm not a Vaishya, I'm not a Shudra. I'm none of the Varnas. I don't identify with the ashram. I'm not a man, I'm not a woman, a cat or dog or an elephant. But I'm Das, Anudasa. I'm the servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord. And one enters into that mood. So the alignment of our intention before chanting is very important. As Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, most importantly, we shouldn't be preoccupied with anything else when we're chanting. And it's kind of a relief, isn't it? Because there's a way in which the mind is part of the material world. And as long as we're attached to the mind, then we're on that samsara chakra. So we can start by detaching ourselves from the mind and identifying ourselves as a servant of the servant of the servant. And there's one other note to make in the process of beginning the chanting, which goes like this. I am by nature, if you repeat after me, the eternal servant of Krishna. But by misfortune, due to being inimical towards him, since time immemorial, I have been wandering within the cycle of birth and death in the material world, being burnt by the threefold miseries. Now, as a result of some unimaginable good fortune, by the mercy of my spiritual master, I know that I am an infinitesimal living being, completely apart from the gross and subtle body. Now, by the order of my spiritual master, I have obtained the good fortune of serving his lotus feet, as well as the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya, Mahaprabhu, Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan, and the holy name. So that those two prayers, the Naham Vipro Nacha Nanapatira, and the one I just said in English, which if you don't have, I can circulate later, are prayers of alignment. The Bhuta Shuddhi, purify oneself out of the bodily conception of life, Maya Mana, Srijati Karma, detach from the Srijati, from the material creation, which means the mind, and just take full shelter, prapanam, of the holy name of the Lord, who has appeared as an avatar just to save us. Does that sound all right? It's okay? Yes. All right. Let's try. Feel free to have full absorption in the holy name and no preoccupation or problem solving at the same time. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasa Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Rama Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Ram
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Ram
Krishna, Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Ram Ram,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna.
Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna, Hare Ram,
Krishna, Hare
Hare Ram,
Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram, Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram, Hare
Hare Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
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 Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Ram,
Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Hare, Hare
Ram,
Rama, Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram, Hare Ram, Ram
Hare
Ram,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare Hare, Hare
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Ram, Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Rama, Rama
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare Ram,
Hare Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Krishna,
Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama, Rama
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Hare Ram,
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram, Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Krishna,
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram Ram,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram, Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Hare Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Ram Ram, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Ram
Hare, Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Ram Ram, Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Hare
Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
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 Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Hare,
Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Rama, Hare
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 Ram,
Krishna,
Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Krishna
Rama
Krishna, Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram, Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
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 Krishna
Hare Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Ram
Krishna, Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram, Hare Ram, Ram
Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Ram,
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Hare Ram,
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Krishna
Rama
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare
When
Ram.
did you come? Or last
Sit
night?
properly.
Are you staying for a week or so?
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Hare,
Ram, Ram
Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram,
Hare
Hare Ram, Ram
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Ram,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Ram,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Ram,
Rama Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram,
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram,
Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare Ram, Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna, Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare
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 Rama,
Krishna,
Rama
Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Krishna, Krishna
Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare
Krishna, Krishna, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Hare Rama, Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna,
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Ram, Krishna, Hare Ram, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Ram, Hare Ram,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna,
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, 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 Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna. Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram.
Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
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 Ram,
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Ram.
Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna, Krishna
Ram,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama, Hare Hare, Hare
Ram.
Krishna, Krishna
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare Krishna,
Ram.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Krishna,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Ram, Hare Krishna,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama, Hare Rama, Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Rama Rama, Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram,
Hare Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama
Krishna,
Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna, Krishna
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Krishna,
Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram.
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Krishna,
Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare Hare, Hare
Hare Ram,
Krishna, Hare
Ram.
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare Rama,
Ram,
Rama Rama,
Ram.
Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare
Ram,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna, Hare Ram,
Hare Rama, Hare
Ram.
Rama,
Hare
Rama Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Krishna, Krishna
Ram.
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna, Hare Ram,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama
Hare
Rama, Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Ram,
Rama Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Hare Ram,
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Krishna
Rama
Ram.
Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare, Hare Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Hare
Rama, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama, Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram.
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare Hare, Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare Hare, Hare
Ram.
Rama, Hare Hare. Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Sit properly.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram,
Krishna, Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Ram.
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare Hare.
Ram, Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Rama, Hare Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram,
Hare.
Hare
Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Krishna, Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Rama, Hare
Krishna Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama, Hare Hare.
Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram.
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Rama Rama, Hare
Ram,
Hare, Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
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 Hare
Hare
Hare.
Ram,
Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare Ram,
Rama
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
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 Rama,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Ram
Hare
Ram,
Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare
Hare Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Ram, Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Krishna,
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare
Krishna,
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 Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare Hare,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Hare,
Ram Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Krishna,
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna,
Hare Ram, Hare
Krishna
Ram, Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram
Rama, Rama
Ram,
Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare Ram,
Krishna
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Hare, Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram
Rama, Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Rama Rama,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Ram,
Hare Hare,
Ram Ram,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram
Rama
Ram,
Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Rama
Ram,
Rama, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Ram Ram Ram,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Rama,
Ram, Ram
Rama
Ram,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Hare Ram, Ram
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Rama Rama, Hare Krishna,
Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
Krishna
Ram Ram,
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna. Just a quick interjection. How's it going? If you want to offer some suggestions how you're making it with your japa today, how's it going, and how are you able to overcome the baliya? The mind is very strong. Maya, mayam, chodita karma, mayam, baliya. Prahlad Maharaj said it's extremely strong, the impulses of the mind. So how have you been able to transcend or chant your japa today? Realizations, a few realizations. Yes, Devavrata Prabhu. If you would kindly share microphones.
Recently I've been reading Giriraj Swami's book, I'll Build You a Temple. And in there is a conversation between Giriraj Swami and Tamal Krishna Maharaj, where Tamal Krishna Maharaj reveals to Giriraj Swami that the most essential part of spiritual life is service to the spiritual master. And Giriraj Swami said that was a very profound realization for him, and then his japa changed after that, because he was no longer chanting just for the sake of purification, but chanting in the service to Srila Prabhupada. So I found that if the mind goes back to this is as a service for my spiritual master, then it creates a sense of accountability to the practice. And just another anecdote in this regard, Giriraj Swami was riding in a car with Mr. Nair, and Mr. Nair had hired a prostitute to try to allure Giriraj Swami. And he actually felt that he was going to fall victim, but then he remembered Srila Prabhupada. And despite the fact his senses were saying yes, his heart was saying no due to his fidelity to Srila Prabhupada. So in the same way in our japa, we may be trying to be tricked by the prostitute of our mind, but if we have the fidelity to the Guru, then it can help bring us to a higher standard of accountability and responsibility.
Sadhu, sadhu. More please. Sharing means caring.
Every time something was coming to my mind, I was just remembering no problem solving. So that helped me today.
Yeah, it's good to know what the mind looks like when it's running on its own. Sukeshri. NPS.
I was remembering the ignore part that you mentioned in Japa Jolt. And
What part?
Ignore.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mentioned about you should not ignore the Lord who's sitting and listening to the mantra. And every time I get distracted, oh my gosh, you know what? Krishna's sitting and listening. I should not ignore him. So we did the prayer like, we should not ignore the Lord.
I was in a parking lot in Denver, Colorado when Nirkula went into the Safeway to get some water. So I walked over to this car and there was a guy sitting in the driver's seat and I handed him a book. And I started explaining. He listened for the first 2 words and then he started looking in another direction like I wasn't there. And I kept talking, but it was a very odd experience because I felt this void, that there was a soul there, but he pretended I didn't exist. And when I walked away, I felt that's how I am with my japa, with Krishna. He's standing there, handed me his own hand. And I was like, oh, that's something else. Maybe something about Mr. Green Jeans or something. Yeah, thank you. One more from this side. Hey, Rasa Sindhu. We need a little Rasa from the Sindhu.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. I was, recently we were with Chachinandan Maharaj and he told us that...
Which Maharaj?
Shachinandan Swami.
Sachinanda Swami, yes.
Yeah. And he shared something very profound that I'm still reflecting on. There is in psychology, there is a therapy model called IFS, Internal Family Systems, which says that our mind is not one thing, but it's comprised of many parts. So there's a part of me that wants something, there's another part that doesn't want. And he was explaining to us that how in our mind we have a part that does not want to chant, a part that hates chanting, a part that would rather do something, and a part that sincerely wants to call out to Krishna. And what has been helping is to find that part that sincerely wants to call out. And all these other parts are making so many loud noises and putting thoughts and ideas. And so just trying to connect with that little whisper of the soul where that part lies and connecting with it while practicing.
Wow, it's a good name for a Japa book, Whisper of the Soul. It reminds me, Yasmad Priya Viyoga Samyoga Janma Shokagnina Sakala Yoni Shitayamana Tukau Shadan Tarapi Tukamatadiyaham Bhuman Brahmami Varai Bhuman Brahmami Varame Tavadasya Yogam, that Priya Apriya, there's all these, it's dear, it's not dear. All the circumstances of the mind that we have to contend with. And I like the point that you made, that Maharaj made, that we have to sort out the part that's actually sincere. We have to find our identity. That's partly why we do the Bhuta Shuddhi, to start with. Start on 2 feet, with 2 feet solidly on the ground. I'm not any of the material designations. In fact, when Krishna was at Kurukshetra, and all the sages were there, the biggest sages in the universe, doesn't get any bigger than that. And they're there to hear him speak. So he gave a talk, and the verse he gave was about how you're not your body, that you're spirit, soul, and don't misidentify with the body. So it sounds elementary, but it's actually the foundational part where we can go beyond the priya, apriya. What's dear and what's not dear, it doesn't matter. The main thing is we're a soul. One more, and then we'll get ready for greeting the deities. Who wants the last word? Work with me, people. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Some time ago you mentioned about how before chanting Japa, you go to Bhaktivinoda Thakur's house. You just go take darshan of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, then circumambulate and come outside and sit on the porch and sit there and chant. Since then, this has been my meditation, that you sit outside like a dog, outside Bhaktivinoda Thakur's house. And whenever you feel your mind gets distracted, you just realize that you're sitting in the most auspicious place, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur is chanting in his balcony, looking over the Charangi to see the Yoga Peeth. So I was just thinking, why am I just distracted? I'm in the most fortunate place. So this is really helpful to bring the mind back again and again, knowing that you're under the shelter of a great Acharya.
Thank you, Malini, for taking us to Bhaktivinoda Thakur's house across the Jalangi. Haribol. Yeah, that's the benefit of going to the Dham also. We have that feeling of complete absorption and shelter there, and we can repair to there in our mind at any time. And I liked what you said about waiting for the scraps to come over the edge, because Bhaktivinoda Thakur said that here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to be your dog. You tie me up in the back on the porch, and I'll just stay there and protect the house so nobody comes and bothers your bhajan. And when you're finished taking prasadam, just throw over the edge anything that's left over, and that's what I'll take. And that mood of just waiting for the remnants of the Vaishnavas, or just waiting for the holy name to bestow mercy and stay in the humble position. Vibho prapannam, stay in that surrendered state. Dear Srila Prabhupada, dear Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shri Shri Panchatattva, Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan, Shri Shri Lakshmi Shringadevi, if you so desire, please empower our whole community to be fully absorbed in japa, so that we can be at one in purpose in preaching Krishna consciousness, our main mission, to save the conditioned souls by spreading Krishna consciousness, especially through distributing transcendental literature. Thank you for considering our request. Om Tat Sat. Everyone agrees with this prayer in whole or in part. Please unmute and say Hare Krishna. Manchakalptarishya, Kripasundabhya, Patitana,